hardest to get into. It was heavily guarded, even at night. Guardians wearing suits of golden armor stood at its main doors, watching for signs of trouble. There was never any trouble, not really, but they stood there, dutifully, watching, waiting. I was going to have to break into the chantry using a side door or a roof access. Think, I thought to myself, and do it fast. I heard a thump somewhere behind me, and the hairs on the back of my neck suddenly stood on their ends. The cold hand of panic gripped my throat. I wasn't sure whether to turn around and face whatever had made the noise or dash into the courtyard and take my chances with the guardians. I was about to make a break for the chantry when a small, round creature fluttered into view ahead of me, forcing me to take a few steps back into the alley. The cherub blocking my path folded his arms in front of his chest and gave me an angry scowl. He had soft, curly blonde hair, rosy red cheeks, the tiniest white wings, and a little white toga wrapped around his almost baby-like body.
"Sarakiel,"
he said, emphasizing the word as if I was about to get scolded, and I was.
"Lightbringer of the 7th Choir, 10th of her name, and all around pain in my ass. You have 3 seconds to explain yourself."
"Could you keep it down?" I hissed, drawing the cherub further into the alley. "I'm trying my hardest not to get discovered here."
"That's your 3 seconds. Guard!"
I grabbed the cherub before he could call for the guardians and wrapped my hand around his mouth. Breaking into the chantry to free a condemned angel was stupid. Wrestling with a cherub was insanity. They were far stronger than they looked. They technically outranked even me, and they had a direct line to God. I hadn't crossed a line I could be punished for until this very moment. "I'm sorry," I said, keeping my voice low. "I didn't want to have to trick you and sneak out like that earlier, and I definitely don't want to be doing this right now. But come on, Micah. I knew you'd never let me go." The cherub wasn't struggling. He didn't have to. He knew he could break free whenever he wanted to, and that meant he was listening. I felt him mumble behind my hand, so I released him, slowly.
"I'm not an idiot, Sarah,"
Micah said,
"and I'm not angry at you. I knew from the moment the sentence was issued that you'd try something like this. What I am is disappointed."
I shook my head and shut my eyes, the sting of Micah's words hitting me hard. "That's worse."
"I'm disappointed you thought I wouldn't understand."
I opened my eyes again.
"What?"
Micah paused, then squirmed.
"Could you let me go?" he asked. "You're squishing my wings."
"Oh, sorry," I said, and I gently released him. The cherub beat his little wings and hovered beside me, just high enough that he could look me in the eyes.
"I am sorry you're going through something so difficult," he said, "but this isn't the way."
"I thought you said you understood."
"And I do, but one of God's most sacred commandments was violated. One of 2, I might add. You didn't make that choice. Gadriel did. Don't let yourself get caught up in her mess."
"She fell in love, Micah, and for that she's being sent to the pit. How is that right?"
"She fell in love with a human. God's only 2 commandments are clear. We are not to interfere with human lives until they reach heaven. Not only did she interfere in his life, but she also possessed another human's body just so she could be with him."
"Love them with everything that we are, everything that we have. That's the other commandment. Don't you think there's a conflict there?"
"You did your best arguing her case before the judges, and you lost. No one could blame you for what is about to happen to her."
"I blame myself," I snapped. "I do." Micah sighed, then shook his head.
"You got too close to them," he said. "Gadriel and the others, they are subordinates of yours, not friends. Your task was to lead them, to show them how to carry out God's will, to ensure heaven runs as it needs to, and to watch over the humans in your care. You weren't supposed to get embroiled in their affairs, and you certainly aren't supposed to break into the chantry to free someone who has already been sentenced to damnation."
"I don't have another choice. I won't let them do this." Micah fluttered a little closer to me, concern and sadness filling his small face.
"Are you hearing yourself?" he asked.